Hello, everyone. This is Brandon, and I want to welcome you all here to the Tansson Talks show. I'm just so excited to be here with you all today for this 9th episode of our show. And so, if you don't know me, I am a lifelong learner, communicator, and of course, your friend. And I'm just so glad to be here as your host. And so, before we get started, I did want to say that if you want to listen to these episodes, you can, of course, find these episodes anywhere you can find podcasts on the Tansson Talks platform. But if you would like to check us out in video form, we are on YouTube at Tansson Talks. But without further ado, let me please give a warm welcome to our guest for today, Mekhi Kirkwood. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. There were a couple of takes. I'm hoping we can just do this one and this one just rolls. I'm hoping this one is good. I'm hoping it's all great. But it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, and I'm so glad to have you here. And isn't it always great to have a little technical difficulties to start off your day?
Sure. It's yeah, technical difficulties. It's the spice of life, really. It's the spice of life.
Quite true, but at least it was at the very beginning before we got really into it, as opposed to somewhere in the middle during our conversation.
We would have had to just kept going if it went that deep into the conversation. Like if we were at the 30-minute mark and we just, or if we were more accurately at the 20-minute mark and we just started going off and it just didn't work, we would have had to just kept going. That's the sad thing.
Quite true. The life of a producer, just keep on going. The show has to go on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But how are you doing today other than the technical difficulties?
I'm doing well, I think. I'm doing well, I think. There's a lot of stuff that's happening today, but it's spring break, so it's I can handle it. I have no classes today, so I have no classes all week, so I can delegate the things I have to do to certain days.
That is good to hear. And so, out of curiosity, before we get started, what are some of your plans for this current spring break time you're on?
What are my plans? I plan on playing more video games. I plan on getting ahead on my work. I plan on finally editing these episodes that I currently have in the I have them in the vault. I have to edit these episodes of my show, of one or both of my shows. I have to do those probably tomorrow. I'll do that.
Well, that is good to hear, and hope that you're able to have a great and productive break and also take some time for yourself as well.
I'm glad I can do it too. What are your plans for break? We're turning this interview around. This is now me interviewing you. What?
Oh, good. Yeah. So, I would say that for my break, let's see. I spent yesterday and later today, just working one of my jobs doing video productions, and then. Yeah, and I'm also trying my best to get back onto YouTube for some of my other brands and everything. So it's like a mixture between production and, just having fun with it. And so this is the first real college spring break for me, sort of, given that most of my asynchronous classes tend to rather ignore spring break. So it's nice that sort of have a break for once. And so it's a new experience, but probably not anything too out of the ordinary, per se.
Understandable. I'm allowing you to have the floor again because this is your show. I'm allowing you to have the floor again to interview me.
All good. Yeah, all good. And so, it's getting started. Are you able to take a moment to go ahead and introduce yourself for those who are watching and listening here today?
I am able to do so. I'm the world famous Mekhi Kirkwood. I'm the host of Wireless Wednesdays Afternoon Inquiries. I'm also the host of Casey and Friends Wreak Havoc. I'm not Casey. I am Friend. I am her only friend. Friend singular. I also happen to be the underdirector for WODU's gaming division, which means I'm decently often on the streams. I'm not on the streams every single time. I wasn't on the stream this morning because the stream was in like somewhere else. Like Bryce kind of just like streamed from his house, I'm assuming. I believe he was playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I think. And what else? What else? That's about all noteworthy things that I do that I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, that is good to hear. And for those who are watching and listening and maybe unfamiliar with WODU Studios, are you able to tell us a little bit about what they do?
Well, they do everything. They have a radio, like a radio room. They have a radio division where you can just, and they also have their own like radio like channel. They also have an app which is sensational. It's called WODU Studios. Basically, a whole bunch of people just play music, have a good time up there. Some hour-long interview formats, and by some I mean two, and both of those are me. Um, it's me. It's all me. It's always been me. We also do podcasts. That's a big thing we do here. A lot of people use the room I'm currently in right now to have like just record their podcasts, put them up on the show. Or put them up on the internet. A lot of people also do. A lot of people also record music, make music here. There's also the film. Like we're really big into film. We were filming a music video right before spring break, and we're also just continuously working on projects. There's a whole lot of film buffs here. And we also stream games. That's the main thing that I believe the people on YouTube know us for, is the fact that we stream games. Like we stream video games.
Which you're the underdirector for.
Yep, yep, yep. That's me. Uh, yep, yep. That's me. That's all me. And it's mostly Bryce, but it's me too. I'm there sometimes.
Well, you all definitely do a great job, and I know, of course, yeah, Bryce is definitely a friend of the podcast, and so it's always great having him on. But I'm so glad to have a chance to have you on, and so I guess I'll actually start off by asking, so what really brought you into yeah WODU Studios, and I guess further than that, what brought you to Old Dominion University?
Okay. So there's hmm okay, there are a lot of things that brought me to ODU. My mother and like a lot of her friends haven't a lot of them have gone here. My mother has worked here. My mother worked in Rogers, in the cafe in Rogers, just cooking and stuff. um my fa- my like a whole bunch of people I know that are like way older than me, they either went to ODU or worked at ODU. I also have like a couple friends that were going here. And also ODU was paying me money to go here, so it was like, okay, all right, that, you know what, seal the deal, right? I'll sign the contract. And around like about until I want to say October, I was very either late September, early October, I believe. I was very lost. I didn't know what to do here because college was a brand new experience for me. And I happened to, on the way to BAL, actually, for a class, um, I was in the web, as I usually am, and I just saw big glowing letters WODU, and I was like, I want that. I want that. And I saw the studio and everything. So I happened to know Bryce previously because he was one of my friends. One of the people who like really showed me how showed me how to have fun in ODU. And we had mutual friends, so I was like, so how do I join WODU? And he was like, okay, so this. I emailed the general manager, and then $15 later, here I am.
Have you enjoyed your experience at WODU thus far?
I have met a lot of really great people. I've met all of the directors. I've gotten that off my I've filled out my WODU bingo card. I was like, yes. I believe you were the last director I met because you were not on campus. But I saw you and I was like, yes, finally, I found him. Let's see. Like a lot of people I just randomly encountered in the studio, and the people who are often in the studio, we have a lot of fun. We're just all pretty good friends and stuff.
Well, that is so good that that you were able to use being a part of the organization as a way for you to meet new people and get acclimated into the college environment. And so, is this your first year in college?
Yes. This is I'm Fun fact, I am 18 with a bullet. I am young. Like I there are people who are also freshmen who look at me with disgust because I am still 18 and I won't be 19 until after the semester ends. I turned 19 in May. uh
Yeah, I completely relate to that because I have an August birthday. So it's just like it's like we're always like the younger people out of the crowd, and that's just the way it will practically always be.
Yeah, it like I don't hate being young, but a lot of jokes has been made at the expense of me only being 18 years old. Like I people like I used to I don't right now. I used to have a lot more hair on the chin and a lot more hair on the face. So when I shaved or before I shaved, people genuinely thought I was like 20, and a lot of people the way I talk, apparently it gives the air of an older person. So people were genuinely confused. They were like, "What? You're only 18? That's ridiculous." And I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you guys expected. I just got here. Graduated in June.
Well, that is, I mean, still pretty cool though. I mean, being able to be, like I said, one of the younger ones, and like you said, having just graduated in June of, I presume, 2022.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so since you mentioned that you have many like familial connections with ODU, I presume that you are very local to the area then.
Yes, I live in Virginia Beach, and I've lived in Norfolk a lot during my life. Like a lot. I was born. I want to say I was born in Centera Hospital. I was born right down the street, right down the street from here. Born in Norfolk, raised in mainly Virginia Beach, but I've always been in a house in Norfolk, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And I mean, and you're representing well with your Norfolk shirt.
Yep, I wore this for your shirt for your show. I wore this Norfolk 316 shirt. It's I went on a wrestling event. It was it wasn't at Chartway. It was at the Scope. And they were selling these shirts. It was limited edition, so I decided to grab it and pay for it. And I was like, yes. I always have to have the shirt handy. Always have to have it handy.
Well, that is great to hear, and you're representing the area well.
I'd hope I am. I hope I am.
Yeah, and so right now within your freshman year, so what are you studying like in your, I guess, general studies for your degree?
Uh, okay, so what am I studying at the minute, or what is my major?
Maybe a mixture of both.
Mixture of both. Okay, I am currently doing a lot of classes. No, not a lot of classes. It feels like a lot, but it's not a lot of classes. It's like 5. I'm taking math, basic college algebra, not that hard. Um, communications 272, I believe, which is digital literacy. I'm taking philosophy. I'm taking Spanish again, and I'm currently what else? Intro to American history. No, interpreting the American past. That is what it's called. My major is a topic of scholarly debate. It's a topic of scholarly debate. It'll either be English, communications, or both. It'll be one of those options.
That's actually like, I mean, I think out of those choices, yeah, regardless of which one you pick, I think you could probably easily take like a mixture of, both classes, because I know there's always room for like electives and everything, and so I mean, you'd probably do really well with both. And out of curiosity, how did you become interested in, I guess, both English and communication?
I'm a writer by trade, like by passion. I like to write, and I'm really good at it. I like to write fiction. I'm really good at writing like English papers. I'm really good. Like I can't express how good I am at it. And I wouldn't be like bragging about it if I wasn't told from like the earliest possible age that like I started writing essays. My teachers were just like, "These are amazing." And you wrote this? Have you not been writing? Like, have you been writing for like ever? And I'm just like, nah, I just started. I never did these for class. But writing fiction is a passion. And then I stumbled upon a new passion because I like doing being in WODU so much, and I was just like, a lot of these classes are really cool, and a lot of these things that I do are really cool. I could, I could get a college degree in this.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, so so it's great to hear that I guess WODU played a factor in you potentially, going the communication route. And so, did you have an interest in, I guess all of this before? Because even though you're, like we mentioned before, you're the gaming director, is that you also have, how many radio shows did you say you currently are either host or producer of?
I am the exclusive host of 2. I currently appear on 3, and the third one requires me to like come with an interesting topic. So it's not I don't really know much on it, but I'm another voice in I'm another voice in WODU. So like that's 3 shows that have my voice in there for about an hour. Um let's see. I think I didn't have like a I need to do this passion for it until I started the first radio show I did, which was my first semester, which was last semester. during the fall of 2022. That was really the point where I was like, I really like doing this. This is fun. I can make money doing this.
Wow. And so I actually want to take a step back before I dive into this. And so, yeah, with you, like you said, you have a passion for writing, English. Well, you have a passion for writing fiction. And so, is there any particular like fiction subgenre that you are most proficient at? Like, I know for myself, I love realistic fiction. So, I mean, is there anything for you?
I grew up idolizing detective novels, and like either Sherlock Holmes, like I grew up like adoring Sherlock Holmes and stuff. Then I became enamored with Arsène Lupin, um, which is not a detective novel. In fact, it's almost the opposite. It's an anthology of a burglar, of the world's greatest thief, Arsène Lupin, fictional. Uh, Written by, I believe his name was Maurice Leblanc. It's originally in French, I believe. There's a lot of like realistic elements in it, and then there's not a lot of like there's no like magic or anything. It's not like one of those. It's grounded in reality. I like reading stuff that's like it depends. I like reading stuff that's grounded in reality, but like still has like thrilling and suspenseful things happening in it. And then I read light novels, which often have an element of the supernatural in them. Um, and then I also like occasionally I'll just read something that's like occasionally I'll just read I believe they're called, well, I don't call them this, but people call them self-help books. It's not really a self-help, but it's not really that. Like Laws of Human Nature, for example. That I don't consider that a self-help book, but I guess like some people consider it, enough people consider it so that it's like I believe I consider it like just an intellectual commentary. I guess. I don't know. But mainly things that are grounded in reality but still have thrilling elements, and then other stuff that is supernatural. Sometimes when I want to turn my brain off, um I just read like manga or something when I want to turn my brain off and not uh but I really want to read something but I want to turn my brain off. Picture books.
So, like a nice variety of things to both read and write, sort of.
hmm the things I mainly write are either like things I write something from each of those genres. I'm currently working on like 3 projects at the minute. One that is based on a little bit it's a little bit of an autobiography, but it's not. It's weird. I'm basing the main, like the protagonist, off of myself, but with significant differences. Um, playing up like parts of my life for certain parts of my life for more drama. Um, I'm also writing a detective, not a detective novel. Well, yeah, a detective novel. It's like I'm trying to think. There exists a book by the name of Sherlock Holmes versus Arsène Lupin, something like that. It's basically a detective novel mixed with a crime novel, kind of something like that. And then um someone just walk into the studio. Um, and then another thing, yeah, someone just walked into the studio. People are here during spring break. It's crazy. Um, Last thing, I'm writing something that is like purely fictional. Purely just purely just fantasy, just allowing me to like purely fictional, purely fantasy, something for me to like unload um my blind artistic creativity in.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds so great that you were able to, I mean, really do a variety of things. Because I know, like, for myself, I guess, before moving on to the next part, is that for me, I like writing realistic fiction, but I'm really into reading both nonfiction and fiction. I know some people like one or the other. I honestly love a bit of both, and so, but I would say my some of my favorite books I have read are actually dystopian novels to read. They're just so interesting. So, The Giver Quartet by Lois Lowry is my absolute favorite, you know, favorite series, hands down, as of recording right now.
Hmm. I I'm partial to a bit of 1984. It's just hmm, I'm not like dystopian novels always bring like when it's not about like hmm, I don't I like feeling good. I like feeling good. So uh whenever I read something, cuz I'll read dystopian novels, I won't like shy away from them. It's just they very often don't end the way I want it to, and I'm just like, please no. Like I get so sad.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I know it's just like, if you're reading for pleasure, I know a lot of times like you want it to end in a very certain way that will give you a nice, I mean, happy feeling at the end. And yeah, that's not always the case with some of them, but yeah, I mean, it's just so interesting to dive into books. And yeah, I mean, I just have a love for reading. I'm glad that you do as well. And so yeah, so it's always great to have a great, I guess, book discussion. And so so yeah, I feel like there's not enough of book discussions, honestly speaking.
Books are amazing.
Yes, they absolutely are. And so I guess over this this first semester and a half thus far, how's been the overall college experience been for you, and have you been enjoying it thus far? I know most of the classes are the prerequisites, but nevertheless, though.
Hmm. I've gotta say, overall, the college experience has been a good one. Although I can also say that with saying that, besides the like month I had off in December, these have been the most stressful times of my life. like I like these are really it's really hard, but I also it's really hard, but it also doesn't um I you just kind of have to adapt to it. But that being said, I've been doing well. I'm happier that I went to college than if I didn't. I'd be like upset working. I'd be upset just working and not doing anything. And I've found a lot of things that I would really like to do. Like I didn't know I wanted to be a radio host until I did. Until I got to WODU or ODU specifically. I would be I have a like at least in September and October I had a little bless you. I had a little bit I had a little bit more money than I would have if I didn't. So that's fine. Um and what else? What else? I can say like yeah, just overall I've had a better experience, although I have been a lot more stressed as of late.
Yeah, sort of like the pushes and turns of being a college student. With great experiences, you also have the I guess the stresses and occasional anxiety parts of being a college student. But I mean, but hopefully it's all within balance and not a little bit more one over the other.
I've been trying to keep the balance. I've figured out how exactly. I've figured out how to keep my balance, I'll say.
That's good at least, because it's always great to to sort of know your own strengths and but also your own limitations, and really really being able to use those to figure out what works best for you, because it's not the same between every person. I've know, like we briefly mentioned, like the self-help books. I know, a lot of stuff online says, okay, well, to have a perfect day, a perfect everything, you need to do this, and do this, avoid this. But I mean, it's different for every person. So it's great that you're able to sort of figure out what works best for you and utilize that.
I've yep. A lot of that has been not meditation, but talking to myself. Logically going about my day and trying to see, all right, when can I do this? When can I do that? I've I talk a lot. I talk a lot for someone who claims they don't like talk that much. I talk a lot. I talk to myself. I talk on the radio for 2 hours a week. 2 hours and like 30 minutes a week. Um I do a lot of talking.
I 100% relate to that, in the sense that I am very much an introvert, and I am literally the host of a podcast. I've been doing this for a while, and people are actually in somewhat disbelief when I tell them I'm an introvert. Like, I find it so shocking, because I thought it was like so. I thought it was very noticeable, but I guess not. I think it all depends on, I guess, who you are, really.
I mean, okay. So when people figure out that I'm an introvert, when people have to figure out that I'm an introvert, or like when I have to tell people that I'm an introvert, they get very confused. But there's two sides. There's two sides to me, I guess. There's Mekhi Kirkwood, who is blatant, just introverted person, just like would just doesn't really like talking, but will respond with thought provoking answers. Just like quiet. Uh, it's mainly in most social gatherings where they're like more than like when there are a lot of people, I don't have to talk that much. So it's like, eh. But at the same time, even in like one-on-one conversations, I'm like more just like thoughtful kind. Like it's more just it's more me just not like being all out there, just me keeping to myself and self mostly, but I'll respond when spoken to. And then the other side of that coin is something that we call M dot. M dot is a professional wrestling fan who who you can tell is a professional wrestling fan. That is where I learned to like talk outwardly to more people just watching professional wrestling. And very confident in what he does. M dot is the one that's like, all right, I'm the one. I'm the best thing like ever. And you won't really see that unless like there are conditions. There are conditions to where I have to bring out my extroverted side, which we call M dot.
That's actually really interesting. So you've mentioned, wrestling before. So are you interested in professional wrestling then?
I've been a professional wrestling fan since March of 2013. Like yep. Professionally wrestling fan since March of 2013, I believe. Yes. Yeah, March of 2013.
Out of curiosity, if I may ask, is there a significance to March of 2013, or do you just remember that month in particular?
March of 2013 was either the month of or the month leading up to WrestleMania 29, which was like the first actual wrestling show that I like watched. Like that was the first event that I like properly watched in all of its entirety. And I didn't really like understand it, but I understood it. I was enamored. I was captivated. Um, Other synonyms. And then from that point on, I just kept watching wrestling just about every week for the next 10 years.
Wow, that is really interesting. And out of curiosity, like, what really, I guess, brought you to watch that initial one to begin with?
Oh man, it was a mix of three things, which I think we can like jot it down to three matches in particular. The build was really good for, well, no, the build wasn't good for all of them, but the build captivated me. Um, a very bad wrestling match. It's a very bad and with a very bad build, but I wasn't there to like experience most of the bad build. It was John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 29. Not When I say John Cena versus The Rock, a lot of wrestling fans, and even non-wrestling fans, will assume I meant the one that happened in 2012. This is not that one. This is the rematch, the worst rematch. It was terrible. It was awful. It was the worst. The match they had before was actually pretty good. This one was not good at all, but I was captivated in the build because as a child, I didn't know but I didn't even know that they had a match previously, and I didn't know I basically didn't know all of the builds, so I was just like, okay, all right, this is amazing. This is amazing. There was CM Punk versus The Rock, CM Punk versus The Undertaker. The Undertaker, I had a morbid fascination with. It's like when you're afraid of something, but you can't not you keep getting attracted to see it. I was very afraid of the Undertaker CM Punk feud. Um but it was like very scary. That was actually a pretty good match. And then the last one was like Brock Lesnar versus Triple H, which was also not that great of a match, but it had a really good like feud leading up to it. Um, I was just fascinated by this like beast of a human being, Brock Lesnar, breaking the arms and limbs of just everyone. I didn't really care about Triple H that much at this point, but Brock Lesnar was like, I was like, wow, there's no way he's gonna lose, and he lost.
Well, that's so interesting that, I mean, that was sort of what helped, yeah, I guess, accumulate your interest within it and then just keep on going from there. And so I guess overall, aside from, I guess, your gaming, your interest in, let's see, so far we've spoken about your gaming, the interest in writing that you have, your college experience thus far, as well as we've touched here and there throughout our interview as well through your radio shows and and we just spoke about your wrestling. So I could have actually your wrestling interest, and so I actually want to go back a little bit for the radio part, even though we're gradually beginning to wrap up. Though is so for your radio shows, are you able to actually tell us a bit about your two different radio shows and sort of what's the difference between those two and how they even got started for you?
Okay, so Wireless Wednesdays, Afternoon Inquiries. Wireless Wednesdays is supposed to be the laid back, the more like I don't have a script going into Wireless Wednesdays. That's the one where um I'll have anyone like that's the experimental show, I like to call it. It's the one that like worked last semester, so now I can just be like, all right, I'm doing whatever. But I also like to call it the show where I try to get away with as much as possible. Afternoon Inquiries is a much neater suit and tie like interview style show where on Thursdays 1 to 2 I basically interview a person, just figure out what they're doing, how they came to how they came to do like most of the things that they do. Um, and I leave the silly stuff and the silly and whack. It's still like a casual like thing, but it's more like business casual. Whereas Wireless Wednesday is casual to the point of insanity.
I completely relate to those two different styles, because I definitely would say that, having done podcasting with guests since 2020, I definitely would believe that that my conversations definitely tend to be alongside, similar to your Thursday series of the the sort of business casual. Now, of course, as I'm sure you can see here, I definitely love hearing how people really got to where they are, and and really seeing how they've been doing. But it's funny because sometimes when I have some guests who had been on previously, or maybe a few times before that, is it's sort of how casual we can get, because the first time we're probably getting to know each other, but it's like after a while it's just sort of like, it's like you can have a little bit more of a casual conversation. And so I experienced that, I guess, last year in 2022, when I had some of my previous guests come back for for catch-up interviews, where we were able to sort of have a different dynamic than we did the first time, just because it's like we know each other a little bit better now. So I kind of relate to that.
Yep, happens. I gotta say, every time I interview somebody for the second time, it just goes off the rails. And that's why I tend to do like my repeat episodes on Wednesday. Funnily enough, this week's gonna be a bit of an exception. Because I can't exactly record, like, something weird happened with the scheduling. So my Wednesday interview is actually going to be a lot more like professional than it usually is. And then my Thursday show is going to be where I unload the all right, here we go. But yeah, Thursday this Thursday is going to be a little bit more casual, whereas Wednesday is going to be a little bit more like business casual. I'm having on a philosophy teacher actually. Very, very good. I don't know how. I don't know why he said yes, but he did say yes. Are we rolling up on time?
You are all good, but that's so interesting. And even though, of course, this would have happened a couple weeks prior to to this releasing, I definitely would, of course, love to tune in. And so, for anyone who's interested in tuning into either of your shows, what is the best way for them to, I guess, be able to listen?
We are currently working on having it so that you can listen to the episodes on demand. I don't know exactly know what platform it is, and like I won't know what platform that is for a little bit. But if this is coming out in a couple of weeks, I'll probably know by then. But right now, the best way to listen to either of the shows is on Wednesday. Not on Wednesday. Well, yeah, on Wednesday, but on WODU Studios, the app or the website. Um, my wireless Wednesdays is usually 5 to 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and then my afternoon inquiries is 1 to 2 p.m. And the third show, which is Casey and Friends, Casey and Friends wreak havoc. Casey and Friend singular wreak havoc. Um, that is usually on or at 7 o'clock on Fridays, 7 to 8.
Awesome. Well, I hope everyone here who is watching or listening definitely tunes into, to both of your shows. And of course, I definitely support your shows as well. And I believe you can find, the social medias for some of them, maybe?
You
online?
can find the social media for Casey and Friend on Instagram. It is Casey and Friend. I believe Casey with a K and Friend. There is a picture of Casey and not me, but everything else is just Casey and me. Uh, it's just of our wacky adventures. Wacky adventures.
Well, that is pretty cool, and yeah, I definitely can't wait to to definitely tune in to everything that you are doing. And so, I guess future thinking. So, what are your hopes and ambitions for the next 3 years and remainder of this semester for for your time in undergrad? Do you have any potential ideas of what you want to do in the future after that, or is that all sort of up in the air? No worries, you don't have to decide right now.
I'm going not all right. So one very clearly I want to graduate ideally on time. Like at the ideally on time. I don't know if that's in the cards for me, but ideally I would graduate on time. Um there's also of course I want to continue both of my shows, maybe add a third, maybe add like more. I I don't think I will. I'll be doing more streams for WODU definitely. Um, I'd like to I'd like to have like a show on the radio in which people can actually like tune in for. That would be great. Or maybe just have my own radio station. I don't know. Um, but and I just want an expansion on most of my things. And I also before the end of before the end of the year, I'd like to have a book published. I'd like to have at least one of my 3 projects. I'd like to at least release one book, one, just one. All I need is one, and like by the end of the year, and then I'll work on the other ones later.
That is so exciting. Now, if you do get your book published by the end of the year, which I sure hope you do, please let me know, and I will definitely try to have you back on if you're interested, and for you to speak about that because I would love to hear about that.
I can't. I just I don't know which one. It's probably going to be it's probably going to be the one that's kind of kind of an autobiography, but not really. Um it's probably going to be that one, and it's only going to be one of like a couple books that I'm going to make on that. I'm going to make it a whole series planning on um but it'll probably be that one if it's any.
Well, I wish you, of course, best of luck in that, and also that you will graduate on time as well. I'm sure you will.
I'm hoping. I'm
Well, I'm wishing you the best in working to make that happen. And yeah, it's surprising that through this whole conversation, how little we actually spoke about. I guess I guess your role as a gaming under director. But if you're able to quickly mention, I guess some of your favorite games and what you enjoy playing before we wrap this up.
Persona 5 Royal, WWE 2K22, uh, 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 the actually WWE 2K23 is going to come out soon, which is in a week. I'll be looking forward to that. Uh, what else? What else? What else? What else? Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4 just got a trailer released, which is crazy. I play Dragon Ball Fighters. I don't play it because I like the game. I hate the game. It's very good, but I'm very good at it. I I'm very good at it. Really good. I'm awesome at that game. I'm not. I play recently. I've been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which is the console game that they released. I play Mario Kart very often, not by choice, by circumstance. I hate that game. That game is awful. That game is terrible. I'm just bad at the game. That is about all I've played in the last that's about all I've played in the last couple of months. Oh, wait, no. Persona 3 Portable. I've played Persona 3 Portable recently because it got released on. It got ported again. Like it became portable and then it became ported again, if that makes sense. It released on PC. It released on PC, so I've been playing that often. I was actually playing that this morning, and then I told myself I had to like get up. I rushed to the studio. I was like, all right, I gotta be here. I gotta do stuff. That's about all.
Wow. Well, nevertheless, that's definitely a lot of interesting games. And like I said, I'm sure that we will have plenty of time to, discuss this further, in the future. But but this has just been so great being able to speak with you and have you on and hear all about your interests. And I just love how you really have like a little part of a little bit of everything.
It's weird. People don't think I'm. It's weird. People like when people hear all of the things I'm interested in, like they think you're not actually real. Like you don't exist. You're not a real person. You're wrestling, writing, podcasts, gaming. You don't actually exist. Nah. I'm just here. I just exist. The ice has melted.
But no, but nevertheless, though, I'm just so glad that that you were able to be here. And I mean, like I said, I honestly have so many interests myself, and so it's great to have to speak with someone who also has so many like great and grand interest. And so yeah. But and closing out though, there is a few things I actually wanted to briefly mention. So the first is, even though we mentioned where we can find, of course, your radio shows, is where is it that we can find the Twitch streams that you are a part of, so that way we know everyone online can tune into those as well.
You can tune into those on YouTube and Twitch. Bryce has been very particular about telling me to, or not telling me to promote it, although he has told me to promote it. He's been very particular to say that if I do promote it, we can do it on YouTube and Twitch. Usually I just say YouTube or Twitch. We can do both. We've done both. We're currently doing both. So, yeah.
That is great. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Cool. Well, and also, do you have any social media pages of your own that you'd like for people to tune into for your own story? If not, that's quite all right as well, but I at least did want to provide that opportunity for you.
Okay, I'm fine with promoting it. It's just like there's not very much interesting things on there. Unless my life is pretty interesting. My life is pretty interesting. I believe I go on Instagram by the name of m.ig. And by m.ig, I mean like mdotig.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'll definitely, for those of you watching and listening, definitely tune in and be sure to follow, Mekhi on Instagram. And last but not least, to close this out, I'm going to allow opportunity for you to go ahead and share whether inspirational thought, a word of wisdom, or whatever the case may be for you to go ahead and close this out. The floor is all yours.
I'm not going to share an inspirational thought or a word of wisdom, but a funny story. So I walk into the studio one day, as I'm known to do, and I see a woman. I ask her what she's doing because I hear Spanish on the laptop. She's currently on a Mac, actually. I hear Spanish on the Macintosh, and she's just like, I'm editing this video. Would you like to see how it like is? He listened to the video. There's a lot of cuts. I believed it to be jarring, and her Spanish was not that great. So I expressed these opinions. This was on a Sunday morning-ish. Why I was on campus on a Sunday morning last semester, I have no idea. But I say, yeah, I think the videography could use some work. However, it however like it could use some work because the camera like switching is kind of jarring, and the Spanish is like not spectacular. Um so she says, "Okay, all right." 2 seconds later, she says that she is the video director for WODU, and I about had a heart attack because she I didn't know. I feel like she would have introduced. I feel like I should have like. I got shocked. I was very afraid. I was like, oh no. I just said her video wasn't very good, and she's gonna like take that and be like, I can't believe you. You'll never work. You'll never work here again. I thought that was what was gonna happen. She took it with kind, and we're good friends now. But bless you, uh, she took it in kind, and we're like really good friends now. But I uh, I genuinely thought that that was my last day at WODU for a second. This could have all been over.
Wow, that definitely is quite interesting. And so I guess like what you could almost learn from that, I mean, is sort of trust your judgment there.
Yeah, don't jump to any conclusions or anything, because you never know who is actually who you're talking. You never know who you're talking to until you know.
Yeah, that is definitely a great one for sure. Well, thank you so much, Mekhi, for coming on here, speaking with us, and I've just so enjoyed this conversation with you.
I've also enjoyed this conversation. I don't get a lot of time to talk about my I don't get a lot of time to talk about my interests.
Well, I'm glad that you had a chance to here. And so, how was this? Yeah, I guess as our final thing, how was this for you as a radio host of two different shows to be on here and be the one interviewed?
I really like the fact that I really like the fact that I am not currently doing the interview, because I have to do interviews tomorrow and the day after. but in all seriousness, this is fun. This is fun. I'd love to be interviewed more, get like more in the future. I need to become rich and famous though. So that'll be my primary motivation to become rich and famous, being interviewed.
Well, I hope that all works out for you.
I hope it does too. I hope it does too.
For those of you who are watching or listening, thank you all so much for tuning in, as always, to the Tansson Talks show. Be sure to tune in here every week for our newest episodes. But until next time, have a wonderful day, everyone, and let's make things happen. I'll see y'all later. Take care.
We'll see you soon.
Are you interested in having your own podcast station? Well, be sure to check out our sponsor, Podpage, for all of your podcasting needs to help promote your podcasting journey. If you're interested in checking out some of our productive multitasking merch or would like to support the channel, go ahead and check out our merch at merch.tanssonmedia.com. Thank you so much for all your support.